Good evening and welcome to this edition of The List on UWW-TV. I'm Nolan Zopydlowski alongside Matt Ellis. For the next few minutes, we'll present our top 5 sports stories of the week and discuss why they made the top 5. Did your top 5 make our list? Let's find out. At our number 5 spot, the UW-Whitewater men's and women's track and field teams hosted an outdoor meet on the weekend of April 23rd. The Warhawk men's finished in first place with 285 team points. The women placed second to Division I Marquette with 148.5 points. The Warhawks host the Drake Alternative Meet in just 3 days on Friday, April 29th. How impressed were you by the Warhawks' performances over the weekend, and do you think the Warhawks can keep up their success in the next meet, Matt?
Yeah, I definitely think the Warhawks can keep up this kind of success. They had a variety of guys both on the men's and women's team that just did very well. It was an impressive performance on the women's side of things. Kylie Jacobs did very well, as well as Gracie Holland. So it was definitely a good showing for both the men's and women's team. And this is the kind of success that they can repeat going forward. At our number 4 sports story of the week, the Pittsburgh Pirates will welcome the Milwaukee Brewers in the first of a 3-game set. Pittsburgh is 4-2 at home and 8-8 overall this season, winning 3 of the last 4 games. Milwaukee is 10-7 overall and 5-4 on the road in 2022. Brandon Woodruff is getting the start for Milwaukee, while Mitch Keller is on the hill for Pittsburgh. For the Brewers, after allowing 6 hits and 7 runs in 3 2/3 inning and a 9-0 loss to the Cubs in his season debut, Woodruff have thrown 11 consecutive shutout innings, allowing the Cardinals and Pirates a total of 4 hits. Do you think Woodruff can keep up this kind of success, and what about that Brewers offense?
Look, the Brewers offense is very similar to last season, and that means it's lackluster. Some days that they have really good offensive days, but most of the time they're just kind of lagging behind everybody else, and it really weighs the rest of their team down because their pitching has been phenomenal. And I mean, you look at Brandon Woodruff, yeah, he had the bad start to begin the year, but Brandon Woodruff and all the starting pitchers for the most part for the Brewers have been very solid, just like last season again. But I mean, you look at the 201 batting average, 275 on base average, 325 slugging percentage. The Brewers, their offense just cannot get going. And for the Pirates, this is a team that is, been a little bit of a surprise sitting at 500. A lot of people expecting them to be bad. I think this series could honestly go either way. At our number 3 spot, the latest retirement by a college basketball legend may be the most surprising we've had in some time. At just 60 years old, with 2 recent national championships under his belt, Jay Wright has stepped down at Villanova. For Wright and his 21-year tenure as the Villanova head coach, he has earned 520 wins, 8 Big East regular season titles, 5 Big East tournament championships, national titles in 2016 and 2018, and numerous Coach of the Year awards at a conference and national level. On Friday, Wright held his retirement press conference where he said he no longer had the mental edge needed to continue his career. Do you think this statement is true? And do you think that his successor, Kyle Neptune, will fill his shoes well enough as the Villanova head coach, Matt?
Yeah, well, first off, Jay Wright's been coaching for a long time, and coaching is something that's just very tough. You can get burned out easily coaching over the years, bringing in different guys. I mean, that takes a lot, so I definitely do believe him when he's saying he just might be a little bit burnt out. But as far as his successor, I mean, look, Villanova at this point is just a staple program in men's college basketball, so Kyle Neptune can really come in and just carry on that torch. I mean, we saw it happen with UNC, and because Villanova over the years has just been such a consistent program, recruits are still going to recognize that. They're still going to want to go to Villanova to go and play. So Villanova, the success that they've had over really a long stretch of time now will continue. We'll have our NFL draft predictions coming up on the list. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Jitters Coffee House. Located on the first floor of the Wells Towers, Jitters is a student-run coffee lounge and offers a variety of coffee and ice cream-based drinks and is home to many entertaining programs, including live music, gamer trivia nights, and other performances. Coordinate your activity by emailing jitters@uww.edu. Jitters is completely run by volunteers who can earn service hours and even receive a free drink during their shift. Stop in tonight at Jitters Coffee House, where fun events and community come together.
Welcome to the University Bookstore. The University Bookstore provides students with the opportunity to purchase apparel, gift items, textbooks, snacks, supplies, and other necessities right here on campus. The bookstore is also home to textbook rental, where you can find many of your required textbooks. Our friendly staff always goes the extra mile to provide customers with a quick and pleasant experience. Visit the bookstore today to find great deals on everything you need to succeed as a Warhawk.
The UC can get you connected to all your basic needs. Grab a coffee and a meal. Study by the fireplace. Bowl, play, and relax when you want to break from homework. The UC has much more to offer to Whitewater students. Go to the UC's website to see what's going on this week.
Welcome back to The List on UWW-TV. Let's continue the countdown to this week's top 2 sports stories. At our number 2 spot, the 2022 NFL Draft is upon us. We're only 2 days away from one of the most important days for many teams around the league. This offseason has already been very active and full of blockbuster moves and surprise trades. If the offseason is any indication of this year's draft, we're in for a second wild one. Could we see any trades involving Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown on draft day? Will the Packers finally pick a wide receiver this year? And Matt, who do you think will go number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, I mean, first off, the Jaguars do got an interesting decision to make. Ultimately, I do think the decision will be to go with Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. I mean, this guy is going to come in and be a proven pass rusher in this league for a while. There's been talks about he might not have the highest ceiling out of the guys in this draft, but the consistency that you're going to get from him is going to be excellent over the years, so that's why the Jaguars will go with this pick. Of course, quarterbacks are always a big kind of proponent in NFL drafts, and a lot of decisions will be made based off the quarterbacks. I think Carolina will be especially interesting to see what they do with their pick. If they do go with a guy like Kenny Pickett, then we could be seeing the quarterbacks falling heavy and right away. And maybe this could be another 4, quarterbacks get taken in the first round. Desmond Ridder might actually get drafted higher than a lot of people might think. And then just talking about Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown, you're talking about premier level wide receivers in this league. And for a lot of teams such as the Bears, Jets, teams that really want those kind of guys to come in, pair up with a young quarterback, now's the time to go get a guy like Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown. Those guys are definitely going to keep tearing up the league for a while, so wide receivers can be huge in this year's draft. And at our number 1 sports story of the week, the Milwaukee Bucks are now 1 win away from advancing to the second round of the playoffs after beating the Chicago Bulls 119-95 in blowout fashion in Sunday's Game 4 win. This win put the Bucks up 3-1 in the series, giving them the opportunity to close things out on Wednesday at home. Nolan, what do you think your chances are of the Bucks finishing and closing things out in Game 5?
Yeah, well, the Milwaukee Bucks obviously have really responded to adversity well, and honestly, they did that last season very well as well. You look at any time the Bucks kind of were down or were looking at elimination. I mean, you're talking about 3-2, down 3-2 to the Nets in the semis last year. Eastern Conference Finals, Giannis goes down as they are tied 2-2 with the Hawks. And in the NBA Finals, down 2-0 to the Suns, and they responded every single time, and now they're doing it again. Chris Middleton was a humongous loss, and honestly, he could be gone for quite a while because they're only reevaluating him in 2 weeks. They're not, it's not a guarantee that he'll be back on the floor, so that's a huge loss for them, especially coming to face a Celtics team which just swept the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I don't think the Brooklyn Nets are as good as everybody thought they were, so I think that the Boston Celtics sweep is a little less impressive, but don't get me wrong, they're a very good defensive team and a very tough matchup for Milwaukee. But you've had players like Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis step up big time. And we saw that again when Giannis went down last season. Those type of players, Bobby Portis, Drew Holiday, even Brook Lopez, those guys stepped up huge. And so they're going to have to continue that if they want to finish the series against Chicago and then compete against Boston and continue their road to the finals.
And that will do it for this edition of The List. We'll be back next week on UWW-TV to talk up more of the sports headlines. For Nolan Zopydlowski, I'm Matt Ellis. See you next week.